Hello class. In this video we are going to discuss solving compound inequalities and more specifically writing the answer in interval notation. So let's jump in. We have a compound inequality with an and statement and it's already broken up. Sometimes they can be put together in one inequality, but this one is really nice. So what we want to do is we want to isolate the variable, just like you would with with an equation. Isolate the y. So what I want to do is add 2 to both sides of this equation. That's going to leave me with 2y is less than 12. All right, we still need to isolate this y. What I have here is 2 times y. What's the inverse? What is the opposite of multiplying times 2? Dividing by 2. So we're going to divide both sides of this inequality by 2, and what I am left with here is y is less than 6. Alright, and we're going to do the same thing to this other inequality over here. We want to isolate the y variable, so what I want to do is move this 5 across that inequality sign, just like an equation. So in this case we would subtract 5. This would leave us with 3y is greater than or equal to 14 minus 5. That's going to give me 9. And again, we want to isolate the y. 3 times y, the opposite or the inverse of multiplying is dividing. So we want to divide by 3. And that would leave us with y is greater than or equal to 3. And remember, let's bring this and statement down. Sometimes my students forget that that is an and statement. So what I have here is technically my answer, but they're looking for interval notation. So what I like to do is draw, sorry if you hear that. So I like to draw my number line, and I do not put every number on my number line because I am super lazy. But I know that 3 is going to be down here somewhere, and I know that my number 6 will be up here somewhere, and I'm going to use different colors for each one. So let's use green for y is less than 6. So that less than sign, that's going to mean that 6 is not included. Okay, so what I'm going to do is when you have a strictly less than or greater than sign, you want to use the open circle when you plot that point on your number line. So for me, I'm going to put an open circle on 6, and I am going to shade everything less than 6. And remember, I want you to look at this. I hope that if you look at this, my sign here is pointing the same way as the arrow on my number line when I shade. So that's one way to help you check, because I do know some students have trouble with determining which way to shade. Your arrow, when you draw your line, should face the same way as your arrow in that inequality. Because they're facing the same way, I know I graphed that correctly. Alright, so let's use a different color here. Let's use orange. And we want to graph that y is greater than or equal to 3. Well, that equal to part here, that is telling me that that 3 is included in the subset, in that answer. So when I graph that, when I plot this point, I want to actually use a closed circle. And now I want to shade. I need to make sure that I am graphing the same way as that sign, that I'm drawing a line that's going to have an arrow facing the same way as that line. So all values that are greater than 3 are going to look like this. Now, I didn't make this pretty. I did this on purpose. I drew my line so that they intersected, but I also drew the little tail ends of them that went past these points, because I want to explain something to you. When you have an and statement, what we are looking for is the intersection. Can you see? I cut that off. So let's write this again where you can see it. The intersection. I'm a math teacher. I don't spell very nice, so I hope that's correct. But I'm looking for where my orange line and that green line, it may not look green to you, but it was a green line. Where did they intersect? When you have an and statement, so write that down somewhere. I'm looking for my intersection. So my intersection happens between the number 3 on my number line and 6. Okay? The difference here, though, at these points, is that 3 is included as part of my answer, but 6 is not, because I have an open circle at 6. Okay? So if I want to write my answer in interval notation, my answer is going to look like this. So I'm starting at 3. All you need to do is look at your intersections. So I'm starting at 3, and because I'm starting at 3 and I am including 3, I use a bracket. That 3 means that the number, can you see this? The number is included, okay? So I'm starting at 3 and I'm ending at 6. And because 6 is not included right here, I'm going to use in parentheses. And again, the parentheses is telling us that the 6 is not included. I'm still learning to use this white light board, so I really hope that you can see everything really neatly. And if not, let me know, and I will be happy to make another video for you guys. Alright, if you have any other questions, guys, just let me know and I will be happy to help.